Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Marlene. For today's video, as you can see, outside. Today's video is going to be a bit different than my previous videos because I want to give like an update in my channel content in my life, and I decided to make it into a two section type of video. So like the first part is going to be about like updates, why I left Amazon and why I removed or like I private those videos. And if you follow me because of that, you know why I guess you shouldn't follow me, because I'm not making no more content of that kind. And then the second part is for those that do want to follow me because of the spiritual content. And again, this video is more like talking about myself, so it's not about like explaining something, like educational content, I guess. So yeah, let's get started. I have here my questions that some people have asked me, some I came up that maybe you guys are like wondering what's going on, and just in case I go sidetracked, and that way like I can stay on topic. So again, the first part has to do with Amazon. So I left Amazon a couple of years ago. I posted those videos with the intention of showing people what it was like working at Amazon, because at least for me, I was curious, and more than anything, I was scared. Like when I first started working at Amazon, I was scared because I had no idea what was I gonna do, how I like if I was able to do that job, or like like perform. Like I read a lot of Reddit stories, and I was like scared, so to me, showing on camera what it was like working on the inside was kind of like helping myself and helping other people like learn, right? Like, oh, this is how you do this and that, but I when I first posted those videos, I never realized that those videos were gonna go, you could say, like viral. They had a lot of views, more than my other videos. And my content is, I wanted it to be more like vlogs, like when I first started YouTube. And I never noticed like how many people just follow me because of my Amazon content, to the point that they were only asking me about Amazon, like how do they uh, get hired, get trained, or this and that. And I was like, I'm not the person to go to. Like, I do want to help as much as I can, with my videos. Like, that's one thing that I feel I want to do for my channels, always to help in some way, even if it's just like inspiring or something. And I've seen videos that other people make about working there, and they're really good, and they focus just on that. So like I I felt like I was, just being another content creator posting those like random videos. But it got to the point where my new content, which I'm gonna talk about why I made that decision, like people started asking me still about that job when I already left that job, when I literally have other jobs now. And now I'm gonna go to, I guess, like an other questions, which is like, why did I left Amazon? And I don't want to disclose that much information. Oh, there's bugs in here. Come on. No. But the main reason was because I was having issues, and I was filing or like HR cases, and it was just case after case. And I don't want to go into details because again, it's like private information, but I pretty much was in a constant argument, you could say, with a group of teenagers. Not teenagers, they were like in their 20s, but I'm on my early 30s. So They had this idea about me. So you could say there was racism involved, and they perceived me as somebody, that was racist to them, which was not true. And I can understand why they were coming for me that way, because after a while I didn't realize I was hanging out with the wrong group of people, right? But anyways, like, that's beyond the story. And this group of people decided to like come together and try to make my, I guess, like, work life miserable, and pretty much like harass me. And I will like go to HR, and they will like separate us. And then some of them actually did stop, like, uh, like, just annoying me. But one of them was just like focused on his idea of, I don't know what. And he took it to the point that he like almost physically um, hurt me. So that's when I was like, you know what, I don't want to be dealing with this. Like, I just come here to work, get my paycheck, and leave, right? And I could have stayed there, but when I had the whole interview with HR, I just told him, like, I'm done. Like, no matter how many cases I open up, they still bother me. And I just, I just come here to work. Like, that's all I do. And, you know, that was it. But then now in real life, years later, I get comments on my videos, or I was getting comments that they were saying, like, oh, you should get fired because you're filming inside, or you should get fired because this and that, like criticizing me without even knowing what was going on. And I don't know, it was just like too much for me. And also, like, I realized one of the videos have music on the background that could be a copyright uh, infringement later on. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be dealing with this. I'm just gonna private them, and hopefully the people that were able to see those videos, like, they got something from it. And if not, you can always go to Reddit. They have a lot of good advice. I sometimes check Reddits from Amazon because they're like very entertaining. And that's it. Like, I want to close that chapter. I don't want to be dealing with no more of that. um you could say part of my life. I moved on. Like, I have different jobs after Amazon, which is funny because a lot of people think that was like my first job or something. Like, that's probably like my number 10th job. Like, I don't want to say it's a good thing to move from job to job, but unfortunately, with the way I live my life, I move around a lot, so I change jobs quite a lot. And with the company I was with them previously at a different location, I never filmed there because I didn't feel like it. But yeah, again, like I said, I didn't thought those videos were gonna have that many views when I started. So yeah, if you subscribe, because I know from my like statistics that I could see from YouTube, a lot of people subscribe to my channel because I had those videos. So I just want to say, I guess, like, I'm sorry, like, if I let you down. It wasn't my intention. Like, when I started YouTube, I wanted to talk on a lot of topics. Like, I like talking about minimalism, spirituality, and a lot of things. And I was going through so many changes so fast in my life that I was like, I cannot do this. I can't um, make it seem like I have this, I don't know, like, perfect uh, channel that's just dealing with you could say, like, feeding the algorithm and my videos are popping up. Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't care if my videos are not in the top videos, the algorithm. I just care, for what I can do, at the best of my heart and my ability. I don't know why I'm getting so like emotional, but I hope that answers some questions. So I put here like my job history, just because, again, like, Amazon was like one of those things that I noticed people just saw me like part of it. And I get it, I work for them, but I don't stand with a lot of their values. And like, I don't want to get too into their, we know they're a multi-millionaire company, they can come after me. But I just want to say my job history, like, um what can I say, I work in fast food industry like a lot of people do. I worked in reception as a front desk agent. I worked in construction. I worked in warehouses. I worked for the Chamber of Commerce on a city. I was helping like develop sustainability projects for businesses. I feel like this is like an interview. So, what's your job history? But the truth is, like, I feel like I'm really good at learning new things fast and also on learning. So it's like once I left that job, I closed that chapter. And like, it's kind of like a relationship. Like, I moved on. I obviously like have my closing period where I try to leave in the best way that I can, best terms possible for myself and for the company or the place that I'm working at. And I'm telling you, like, with Amazon, I felt like I left in good terms, even though I had that whole situation. But then my next job, I actually didn't leave in good terms. I actually had a job, two jobs after Amazon. I was working at Walmart. I think I also posted one video there, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna take it down because same thing, like, I don't want to be known just for like bouncing through all these jobs, right? And then at the same time, I was being a manager at a you could say like smoothie place, pretty famous smoothie place. I don't want to say the name, but I ended up becoming like the assistant manager for that restaurant. And I was gonna post videos, and I was gonna post a lot of things because I really liked that job, and unfortunately, the way it ended was because of a misunderstanding. Again, the majority of the employees there were on their teens, and I'm on my 30s. So the way they will perceive me was like, at first, because I have a lot of energy sometimes, like, I could be perceived as a young person. I don't. Sorry, my English is not like quite there yet, but oh, and that's one thing I want to talk about too. But um, so pretty much I got into a lot of arguments because they would bully me literally for my age, saying that I was too old to be working at a smoothie place, and just making fun of me because of that. And that was like just too much for me. Like, I didn't want to handle all of that because, I mean, it wouldn't bother me. Like, I wasn't taking it that bad at first, but I didn't have my managers, like the person on top of me, supporting me. Instead, he would like ignore it and just like do nothing about it. So I ended up just like quitting on the spot, and I was done. And then I was like, I gotta find another job. I ended up finding another job, which I also became an assistant manager. It was a fast food restaurant as well, also very famous. So I'm not gonna say the name. I just have really good luck. Once I find a job, like, I don't know why, like, I can move up pretty fast. Like I said, it's probably because I learn and unlearn things like quick. Um, but yeah, like, I also had to leave that job because I found another job. I'm sorry. It's just life. But I already had my eyes on that job. And when I got the call, like, oh, we need you to move here because we have this position for you and you can do this, good pay and everything. I was like, yes, like, of course. And I decided to move to a different state and everything. And after that, like, again, like, I've been doing other things that I rather keep private, because even though I love sharing, because I feel like being vulnerable on the internet makes you kind of relatable to people, and also like people get to know you, who you are, right? But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be putting private information out there so people can then like come and tear me apart, come and like say all those negative comments. And that's another thing I had here, like being perceived and talking about like the evil eye and stuff like that. And for those that are not into spirituality, energy, and all of that, like that's why I'm saying, like, if you follow me because of that content, you don't care about my new content, like it's alright. Like again, like I just hope uh it helped you in some way. And I never did it like for the views. it's it's kind of odd to say that, but I genuinely thought I was only gonna get like a few views because I was just like, come to work with me, like I thought it was just like a random blog, just like this one, like I'm like, come on, Marlene, I gotta do this. Like, I have a channel, I haven't posted in forever. Um, why am I saying? But yeah, like people perceive me in a lot of different lights, and sometimes like those lights or like their vision of me is not the best, like I have people that again like try to physically hurt me, um and just talking bad on my channel. And sometimes, like I said, like I don't care much about the perceptions of other people about myself, but when it comes to the internet, it's a whole different thing, like I want to defend myself, nobody else is going to do it. And like I get tired of people coming to my new video saying like, oh, she's going to talk about flat earth or something like that. I'm like, first of all, get off my channel if you don't want to watch this type of content. Second of all, I have the right, to delete your comment if I don't find it like you're like, it's not about just love and light all the time, but it's also about like keeping my mental health and sanity, and more than anything, like having, how can I say this, some type of um I don't want to say control, but it is my channel and I can post, at some degree, because I can actually post everything I want, but I can post, like, for the most part, what I decide to post, and so that's when my other content comes in. And if for those that want to label me like weird, this and that, like I've got those labels before all the time, all my life. My life is pretty weird. It's very there's another word, not just weird, but sorry, I'm not very how to say it, like when you can talk like dialect at, at, oh yeah, articulate. It's because, okay, sorry, I'm just going all over this, but I'm bilingual, okay? My way of expressing in English, I'm not as articulated as I am in Spanish. Like I can defend myself more in Spanish, obviously, because it was my first language. And the second thing is, like, I know in my English, people perceive me like I'm very tough and like I'm very, maybe not because of the tone of my voice, but the way I move, again, like they perceive me as like, like I kind of intimidate people. And that can play both ways, right? Like good and bad. Like, sorry, again, I'm going through a lot of just like comments and things I've been getting. But yeah, so um yeah, that's my, for my other content. I actually made another YouTube channel before I actually started posting just spirituality videos, because I knew that was gonna happen some way. Like people were gonna be like, wait, why are you changing your content, And I posted like 2 videos, but then I realized, like, you know what, I don't really want to do vlogs anymore. Like my again, my life changes so drastically and in a way that it's almost, I don't know, like it's just weird. Like I just, and I don't know, like I just felt that it was best just to keep my channel. And I have also another channel in Spanish, that one I had since like 2009 or something, because again, like I always wanted to blog, I always wanted to do YouTube, but I never knew what kind of content I wanted to create, and I was like, let me just start somewhere. So blogs were one of those things that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it, you know. But through the years, as I've gotten older, I realized that I couldn't keep up with myself, even though I wanted to have like 3 channels and my podcast and this and that. I can't keep up, you know. So I was like, let me make that decision. I'm just gonna keep this channel as far as it goes for now, English, and the other one Spanish. And the other one that I had created, like I just completely deleted it. Like, it's gone, right? And then as far as any other like social medias, I try to not delete them because I have this again thing where I post stuff and then just delete it and start a brand new social media. And then I'm like, come on, like I can't keep doing this. Like people have to maybe I don't know, I'm sorry you guys, like I'm just very into changing myself. I change a lot, my life changes a lot, and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just my life. Okay, so yeah, this is the first part. Now for the second part, which is my spirituality, which I think I'm already into that. So hope you guys that wanted the Amazon answer got your answer, and you guys can go, it's okay. I love you and thanks for watching all those videos on the support. But now about my life. So as far as like spirituality, I've been moving again, so I'm sorry I haven't posted videos. I actually had like 2 videos filmed that I was gonna post, you know, to keep up, but I realized that I was rambling a lot, just like on this video, you know, like I need to you know, just like have something so I can like keep referencing. And I don't know, it's just um yeah, so it's so nice out here. So yeah, this video, as you can see, is different, right? It's talking about myself, my life, and with that I want to talk about like the ego just a little bit, you know, like we all have an ego. If not, we wouldn't be here. And my ego kept telling me like, come on, just make a video. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, just show like a video of your life, you know. And the reason that I was like postponing that decision was because I am very self-criticism, like self-aware, that sometimes I fall into the perfectionist category where I'm like, if that video doesn't come out like I wanted it to be, I'm pretty harsh on myself sometimes, right? And I once posted a video like this one on my other channel, the Spanish one, and my audience over there, they're very empathetic, and I felt like I was being hurt, you know. But when it comes to this audience, like the English one, I guess, it's not the same for some reason. I'm not perceived like that, and I get a lot of, oof, like, I don't know, it's, well, I can explain in a different video. Oh, that bug. Bugs. There we go. So, yeah, I been like questioning myself a lot, and I was like, you know what, if I want to talk about spirituality, at least I have to put something out there, you know, that uh, people can at least try to relate to. Because I just started like posting videos, and people probably don't know like who I am, where I come from, or my story. And again, I don't want to be too out there, like sharing everything, but I do want to share, I guess, what's important. So yeah, so I guess this is my remaking of that video about myself. And I'm gonna be honest, I'll probably either gonna take down this video later on and probably post it on a platform that is more private, that I guess is like my own terms, you know. So I can speak more about what I want to talk about. Like here I can only say so much, and people can only perceive it with what they know. And a lot of times, again, like they're not on their best interest, like they don't see me on their best light. So I'm like, okay, like I cannot change that. I'm not gonna fight that. Like I'm choosing my battles. I know who I am, and I don't want to do that. So um when it comes to spirituality, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start because it's a long story. I feel like it's gonna rain. That's why I'm like but I just want to say, well, let's just say we're all spiritual. We all have our spiritual side. It's just some of us can tap in into ourselves, and some of us can, like we or like uh just, how do you say it, like, you know what I mean? Like they just don't remember, right? Like they are too busy with life, with the duality of life, and that's fine. Everybody will have their own spiritual journey at their time. And so mine came about like 5, 6 years ago, and it was due to multiple mm, important events that happened in my life, right? So um, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where to start, but I'm just gonna give it to you guys. But I don't want it to be perceived as like trauma dumping, but this was my real life, okay? I don't also want to be saying that, oh, because my story was so harsh, like fall into that spiritual victimism, like, oh, I suffer the most, therefore I am more spiritual. Like, no, like everybody has their own story, and everybody had their own pain and struggle that they have to go through, and their own healing journey, and so for me, um, the most, I guess you could say, like painful theme in my life was that I lost a lot of people in my life. Like, for example, I had a best friend. Her name was Marlene, just like mine. Coincidences, she had her moon sign in Gemini, mine is in Sagittarius, so they're opposites. So we were best friends since like 7th grade till, well, she passed away when I was like 20, 21. And obviously you can say that was a soulmate because, like, it's just a coincidence, that we met. We have a picture together before we even met, holding a sign from school. And it's like, wow, what are the odds? But anyway, she was my best friend. She knew my whole life story, all the things, the way I thought back then, how I was, all my childhood, teenager years. Like, she knew everything about me. And unfortunately, she had a motorcycle accident and she passed away. I actually dreamed of her the other day because her birthday was a couple of days ago. And from there, I, you could say, like, I was like in school, I was just doing life, going to school. Everybody kind of knew that I was very smart at school. Like, I was always in first place in every class, getting A's, getting 10s. I graduated in like the top 10 or 20 of high school. So yeah, I was very into the duality of life, and I was also very artistic. Like, I actually wanted to major in graphic design back then when I entered college, which was weird because I couldn't decide what I wanted to study for college, and I was into, like, either very into business or very art. Like, like, I was very into different areas of life, and I was like, I don't know, like, what I want to do. And so I ended up studying for tourism management. And because for some reason I had this idea of like traveling the world, and I kind of like learning about cultures and like the different languages, and just traveling. Like, I just wanted to do that and get to meet a lot of people and a lot of things, right? But yeah, unfortunately that happened, and I was still going to college, and I was moving. Well, I was raised in Mexico, but I moved here when I was like 15, and then I was like going back and forth between the two countries. So when I stayed here for college, um, I was already married, and I had my daughter, and so I have a daughter, and then my husband at the time, he passed away. So he also passed away like very suddenly, you could say, and that's when my like second like spiritual experience began. Like ah, I don't even like, I don't know. It's hard to remember those things because it's been so long for that. So it's like trying to remember. Um, but let's just say like obviously I fell into like a depression, but I didn't know it was like depression. So I was like pretending everything was right, going to school, like taking everything, going to school, taking a job, taking care of my daughter, doing this, doing that, and meeting new people, just trying to like get over it. And I kept ignoring, all these signs. Like I had these weird dreams. I was seeing things that like I was like, I'm just losing it. And so I was in a relationship with a guy that was just recently also out of the Marines. So that relationship, um, I want to label it. That was my uh, twin flame or fake twin flame relationship that uh, was the dynamic of the narcissist and the victim. So that's the relationship that led me to my spiritual awakening. So obviously, I have a lot of things I can say about that relationship. But more than anything, like I was struggling, that I wanted to keep that relationship, and I was being treated not in a good way, right? So I ended up deciding to leave that relationship, and then um, when that happened, I started going to a healing journey with plants. So plants like help me with a lot of things, and I know this is all over the place, but pretty much I ended up consuming, something else. I probably can't say here, and it made me feel better because I couldn't, again, like I couldn't help that, or like my psyche at the time couldn't deal with so many losses, at the time. Like it felt like another loss. And again, like quitting jobs is something like I can get over it. But relationships are like something very important, right? So when I did that, I guess you could say, uh, not that long later on, my dad had an accident also in a motorcycle, and because of that, his injuries and everything, like he passed away. And literally on the same like time frame, you could say, that person I was dating, or like dating, because we were not even like dating, it was like a trauma bonding relationship. He ended up like cheating on me for like the 100th time. So it was just too much to handle, to the point where I guess my soul was like, this is it, like I can't take no more. And that's when I had like my whole spiritual awakening. That's when I had this out of body experience. I was in the astral, and just talking to like my higher self. And it was something that my ego obviously couldn't understand, because it was like, where's that voice saying like you've done this before, where I'm like scared to death that what I'm seeing, like that I went crazy. I was actually so scared that at one point I was thinking of like of like just putting myself out in the, like in, turning myself in to those white rooms. But I was like, no, like there's gotta be something more. And then I started, coming across information about like the chakras and this and that. And then I had these dreams about snakes and all of that. And it was just like my spiritual awakening, right? It was rough. And then 2020 came. So then I was like already had some understanding about astrology and the chakras. So like for me 2020 was like, so what? Like come on, something else. Like this is not new. I mean it in the nicest way. Like for me, being at home wasn't nothing new. Like I love taking time away from people and just shutting down all my social medias and just making it like it never happened, right? And that's probably why the universe responds in the same way, when I have to change jobs, like, oh no, we're gonna start anew, because it is like that. But anyways, I feel like my generation, those of us that have Pluto and Scorpio, will know. So yeah, I do talk about a lot about astrology because I study so much astrology. And when I was in my teenager years, that's one thing, I was reading a lot about astrology, but I didn't know like the whole like the planets and stuff. I only knew like, oh, your sign, like your sun sign. And anyways, back to my spiritual awakening. Astrology was the main thing that was like helping me navigate why my life was always so weird, why my life didn't make sense. Like how come like I was in my 20s and I had to go through divorce. I had to go through um being how do you say when somebody dies, like like grief, um going through that when all my classmates were just focused on like studying and finding a job, and I was here like trying to raise my daughter, and I was looked bad because I had a daughter. I was going to college. Like they were like, no, you can't do that. Like you should just focus on your daughter, or like you're being a bad mom, things like that. And a lot of times I felt like, well, not all, I mean, all my life I felt misunderstood, and like now I know why, right? And then back then that actually uh, hurt my confidence, because I was known like at times that I was like really shy, really quiet, missed a lot of opportunities, and I really couldn't like fit in with my typical like classmates. I always had like topics, subjects I wanted to talk about that not a lot of people wanted to talk about, and I was like, just um, my way of being, like that's who I am, right? And at one point I was like, maybe I am weird, maybe I am this um person that just doesn't get life. And honestly, at until like recent years, I came to terms with myself that I was like, I am kind of um not very understanding of like normal life, and not that because I want to be like, oh, I'm special, I want to be treated like special, but because I was like, oh, you know what, actually I've been doing the right thing with what I have, like I was put in positions that I never thought I was able gonna come out, like when I started um like working at other jobs or like going through breakups, I had nobody to go through, and you could say like, oh, I could go to therapy and all of that, but at, I guess at the time, I don't know about now, but I felt that a lot of people would understand like the spiritual side of it, like if I lost my best friend and my husband and my dad and then like other relatives, and I keep seeing these dreams and all of that, like it must mean something, like if people come to me and tell me their life stories and they find like comfort in me, it's because I am probably like somebody that has something to give, and obviously at the time I couldn't label it, but now I know, and back then, like again, I felt bad because I wanted to fit in, I was even trying to dress differently, try to look a certain way just so I could be perceived in a light, so I would be able to get, I mean, it's it's another topic, but we all know like the way you look is how people are gonna treat you. And it's good also to take care of your appearance, but uh, I just want to say, like, for example, I was struggling at one point in my life trying to find a job because I couldn't fit in like this stereotype of that job, which was like very, you could say, like elegant. And I'm more into like the casual dressing, but I couldn't fit in, and it was like hurting me financially, spiritually, and my confidence, and everything. But then I thought about like, hey, like maybe I should listen a little bit to my ego, like that some people just have that perception of you, and maybe if you change yourself, maybe temporarily you can get in there, and then just when you can, just go back to your actual like authentic self, and I'm an Aquarius rising, racing, rising. So, authenticity is one of those things, that um, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like I just be authentic and this and that. But no, like the internet does not care. Like people can say that you're authentic, but I guess this is more for my Spanish audience again, because I'm perceived differently there, that they see me as very genuine when I'm always being genuine, but whenever I dress up or something, I'm being perceived like I'm fake, and I'm like, no, I'm just doing this because I feel like this is me, I actually do enjoy dressing up sometimes, even um when I'm not out like in the garden or anything, like things like that. And just I can understand where they're coming from. Like I can only give them, or like you guys, so much of myself that you will perceive me in a way that we can only like meet halfway. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to be like also people pleasing, just putting myself out there just so the algorithm can be like, oh, um you're doing what the algorithm wants, like this aesthetic and this and that, like like spiritual aesthetic, like crystals and all of that. So we're gonna put you up there, like I can play that game too. But that's the whole reason why I didn't want to post um content like that, or put myself out there like that, which I've done it. Like I like to dress up sometimes, and I'm sorry again, sidetracking, but it's nothing wrong with that. But it's sometimes it's like you gotta remember that the internet is like, it's this field that you kind of have to play sometimes by the rules, because once you turn on the camera, it's like reality is not real anymore. Like we all kind of have to put an act sometimes to to get the message out there. Like I don't think people will want to listen to somebody that would just like complain all the time, because sometimes I tend to do that, but like, or just not complain, because there's so many videos people complaining and they get so many views. But hold on, that was a bad example. What I'm trying to say is like you can play that game, as in like you can act it up, let a little bit of your ego, like you have a personality to develop, right, in this world. Like we all come here with a certain set of skills and ways of doing life, and I'm an Aquarius rising. I keep seeing racing. um but to me, like the way I do life, I also have Pisces, but anyways, like I have a lot of mental and fire energy, unfortunately, which sucks because I'm an earth sign, like I'm a Taurus. So when it comes to trying to uh like communicate, is like something that it comes naturally, but at the same time, like I struggle so much with like trying to give out the right message, because again, like the way I'm perceived is so different. And I'm telling you, like that's why I want to make this video, because there's points in my life where I'm like, I'm just done. Like whoever's gonna get the message is gonna get it. Whoever don't, like I'm sorry, I just can't. Like I'm doing everything that's in my way, like to be realistic, but also be, you know, like who I am. So I'm so out of topic. But I guess to close this video, um, again, this video wasn't like an educational video or anything, so you could label it as selfish. I don't mind. Like, it is because I'm talking about my life and everything. I will have more videos later on, hopefully. I don't know when, but I really want to get into some very deep topics like that. I'm just so yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, when I had my spiritual awakening, I had my kundalini spontaneously activated, right? And which I'll probably make a part 2 of that video, because I got a lot of questions for that. Again, I don't know every answer out there, but with my experience, I did lose my voice the first couple of weeks when I had my kundalini spontaneously happening. I was seeing snakes, Kali, yeah, you could say the underworld. Like, I was literally in hell. But thanks to that, my whole perception changed. Like I'd say, I was, imagine going from somebody that was straight A's, at school, very rational thinking, now talking about like spirituality, energy, God, metaphysics. Like, my mind wasn't like ready for that. So when that happened, I was like, like in shock. My ego was like fighting, like, no, you're gonna sound like a flat earth. This and that. Like, nothing against them, but you're just gonna not sound that you're all put together, like sane. So that was one thing I was really struggling, because I was like, am I really sane or not? Like, I was, just normal questions. And I hate saying this on the internet, because I know people will pick on that and just interpret it the wrong way. But anyways, yeah, I also struggle a lot with my voice. As you can see, I bought microphones. I do a lot of things because my voice can be very low or calming. And again, some people like it. Some people say like it's very comforting, very healing, just down to earth. While some other people can say like, what an ugly voice. Oh, I got that. I get so many comments. You can say a lot of things of that, but I do put my part. I try to at least, like, I got a microphone. I try to speak as clear as I can, but um, again, there's no excuse. I chose to put myself out on the internet, and I know what are kind of like the things that I'm been going through, but this is just another video again, like, to those of you that want to like share your story or something like that, your perceptions. It's okay, not everybody, you're not meant for everybody. Like, not everybody's gonna wanna hear you talk. A lot of people don't wanna mm, like take their time and understand where you're coming from. And it's understandable, like, I've seen some YouTubers that I literally just watch them because they feel like a reality show, and they're like comforting, even though I'm not learning nothing new, but it's just like comforting. And with my channel, I actually don't want it to be like that. I actually want it to be a educational channel. So I guess it's kind of, in a way, I am saying that I want people to pay attention to what I'm saying. So if I want people to pay attention to what I'm saying, obviously I have to make the message clear, loud and clear, or like just relatable. But sometimes it's hard, you guys. Like, sometimes like, I'll get this downloads, and then I will write them down, or like just try to put them together. And by the time I do that, like, I'll either just ignore it, or I don't know, I have my weird thing of integrating some information sometimes. And then I'll see a video that somebody posts, and I'll be like, see, somebody else got it, like, it's fine. Like, I don't need it, or just things like that. So, yeah, I guess this is the video that I want to make for my story for myself. And I want to keep talking just because it feels nice now that I'm here. But I know you guys probably want to go. Like, I already talked for 15 minutes, not saying much. Um, I don't have much in here. Well, I put art in school for some reason. Okay, that's my sign. I'm just playing. But yeah, I really enjoyed painting when I was a child. Up until now, I like painting, drawing. I used to play the guitar. I'm not that good at it, but I used to play it. The piano, just musical instruments. My son is a Taurus. My my son, not my son. I have a daughter, not a son. um, so I'm very into like the Venus energy, but this year, according to astrology, or like the last years, my transitional sun or something like that is going through Gemini, and I kind of feel it because I've been wanting to talk so much. Like the last couple of months, I'm just like talking, moving my hands so much, and this and that. I'm like, yes, yes, like give me more. Like it fuels me up. It inspires me for some reason. When I'm reading a book, I'm like, I want to talk about this. Or when I'm like watching a video, I'm like, yes, yes, like tell me more or this and that. And like I just like zoom out of reality and just like want to be in books and like just the intellect, and I try to tell myself like it's okay not to like slow down, like it's okay to just feel. You don't have to put everything that you get out there, like it's okay. um but yeah, astrology is very important. Again, astrology, I do want to make a video about it. It's not something that will dictate your life. It's not like, oh, because the moon is on this sign, it means that now your life, you have to do this. Like you have to stop whatever you're doing and just harness that energy from that sign, this and that. Like, no, like you can like astrology is there to help you, like to understand the energies, but it's not for you to like, it's not your destiny. Like you make your own destiny. Like, again, I want to make a whole video about it, but there's something called like uh fatty or like fate, where you like, like you can use that like to your advantage to break your own karma. Like we all have our own karma that we came here to work and get out of that, so then we can be free souls. You don't have to be trapped again on this loop of energy, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, to learn the lessons that your soul already probably has learned, just because, again, like you want to stick to astrology. Like it helps so much, but it's not something you have to live exactly but by the words, or not the words, but like whatever energies at the moment. Like when I had my spiritual awakening, obviously it helped me learn because I was going through my nodal node reversal node no ugh, reversal north node. So I was living what uh like whatever I went through in my teenager years was now like coming back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I lived through this again. Like, and then you start realizing like, oh, life is made out of cycles, just like the seasons. Like we have winter, we have spring, like seasons, they come and go. It's the same thing as your life. Like there's gonna be seasons where you're gonna be high and happy and everything's gonna be going well, and there's seasons where you're gonna be challenging and you're gonna be put into situations where it's up to you to break that cycle or continue making it just with different characters. Because a lot of times life, it's so funny. Like sometimes you go through the same situation because life is testing you to see if you have learned, from your mistakes or not. But they will just use different people, or places. Like I went through this recently and I could totally see it. I was like, oh my God, like the universe was literally throwing it at me, and I was like, now I can see it. Like I can clearly see it. I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm making the same mistake again. So nope. And yeah, so that happened. I was so happy, but yeah, life is seasonal, you know. So I am on this season of life where now I feel like I can put my experience that I have with spirituality that I still have, and maybe some of you guys can learn from it. And yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on a next video. Bye.